I think I've created quite a few incredible keto and carnivore recipes, but there is one thing I've never done. That is create a recipe that I think could never be improved. So today we're pulling one of the old classics back out because I've upgraded it and made it just that much better. It's carnivore white rice, and I'm going to show you a really fun way to top it today on Chris Cooking Nashville. If you guys have been around the channel for any amount of time, it is quite possible that you have seen not only my very old original carnivore white rice recipe, but you've also probably seen the more modern versions where I did things like fried rice and some other stuff. Well, today I'm going to make a big change to that recipe. It's a little change, but it makes a big difference, and you can do it as white rice, which I'm going to show you the easy way of doing. And then you can also use this in my fried rice recipe where you fry it in a skillet to turn into fried rice, the same as I do in that original video. I'll go ahead and link both of those videos in the description box for you if you'd like to check them out. So let me pull out some ingredients. I'm going to put them on the screen for you so you know what we're working with. Also, the free recipe card is available on my website with all of the ingredient amounts that you're going to need. I'll link my website and my recipe card page both. Let's go ahead and pull out the ingredients and let's put together some upgraded carnivore rice. As recipes go, this one is actually pretty straightforward. So let me show you what I've got going on here. Egg whites, which is the bulk. You can use packaged egg whites that come in the carton, fresh egg whites that you've separated yolks out of. I also have one whole large egg. You could just use a single egg yolk. We just need a little bit of the fat. And then in this bowl, I have a mixture of whey protein powder, butter powder, and beef gelatin. Any unflavored gelatin will work. I'm using whey powder, but you could also use something like beef isolate or total milk protein. The only thing is it may come out a little bit drier if you use a different kind of powder like a whey protein isolate or a beef isolate. So you may end up finding you need to add an extra egg yolk. We're going to add the egg whites into the blender and we're going to crack in the egg. I'm going to add in the powder on top. You don't want the powder in the bottom so that you don't get clumps around the blades of your blender. We're going to blend it all up until it is smooth, and then I'm going to show you how we cook it to turn it into white rice. Next, we're going to melt a half of a stick of butter. We're going to cook this at a high enough temperature that we can really set those egg proteins while chopping them into pieces. Butter into the skillet, and then we can pour in our egg mixture. Incidentally, I'm going to be using my food processor to create the rice texture of these, but I have found that if you don't have a food processor, or at least one big enough to do the job, one of these meat choppers and a little bit of elbow grease goes a long way to creating that rice grain texture as well. I'll link one of these in the description box for you guys because it's a great tool to have around the kitchen, and in this particular case, it's especially helpful if you don't have a more powerful motor to do that. My eggs are fully cooked. They have a scrambled egg texture, and I have made sure they are fully set all the way through. I'm gonna go ahead and throw them into a food processor and pulse it just a few times before adding them back to the pan, and then I'll show you how I finish them. After that comes out of the food processor, I'm gonna put it back into my pan, and I'm gonna add about a cup of water. What this is going to do is help disperse sulfuric compound that is in eggs, which is what makes eggs taste like eggs. Continue to cook this until it pulls that sulfur out of the eggs, and we're gonna cook it until that water evaporates and this turns back into a drier mixture. Now, if any of you were wondering about salt, I'm going to throw in a large pinch of salt. You could throw in more if you want to. That's going to help pull some of the extra moisture out of the egg rice that we have so that we can get more of that sulfur to evaporate and get less of an egg flavor. Cook off all of that water. Then we're gonna do a simple taste test of the white rice, and then I'm going to show you an extra special way to top it. I have almost cooked all of the liquid off of these eggs. If you like a long grain style rice and the mouthfeel of this, you can just cook the rest of the liquid off till these no longer stick together in clumps and you're good to go. If you want more of a starchy short grain rice kind of mouthfeel, you can optionally add about 1/4 cup of heavy cream and cook it off as well. So this rice is basically done. You can tell because it starts looking like grains that are kind of all congealing and sticking together as one uniform dish instead of big clumps separate from each other but stuck together. Taste it. If you like something a little bit more sticky and starchy, add a couple of tablespoons extra of dry gelatin over the top. Fold that and smash that through, and it will finish the dish and make it a little bit more of a starchy type of rice as well. So we're gonna go ahead and turn this off, finish this after we get the approval from Miss Ash on the rice by itself. So this is taste test 1. We're gonna have Ash try the rice just as it is.
I did taste your original recipe though.
Yeah.
And I did enjoy that, but I'm hoping that he improved it. So hopefully it's good and I just don't spit it out. Oh yeah, that's really good. That's actually really pleasant. I like that. If you think of like white rice, like what we're all used to, you know, it's kind of like what you put on top of it that makes it. Eating this, I was kind of afraid it would taste eggy. I don't taste eggs whatsoever. Literally reminds me of like plain rice.
Well, now all you guys have to do is if you want to make fried rice like I did in my fried rice video, you add this into a skillet with the oil and all the different things I add, follow that, and you just fry it until it starts to brown on the outside and you get fried rice. I'm going to show you guys a different way that we can use it as white rice. Let's put some really tasty shaved beef and gravy over the top.
Let's do that.
Here I have about a pound of very thinly shaved chuck roast. I'm going to show you guys in a future video how I make this shaved beef, but you can really use any kind of meat that you want for this. I also have dry aged beef fat that I rendered out. So I rendered tallow from some dry aged meat that I had. If you guys haven't seen that, you got to go check out my dry age video on doing dry aged steaks. We're going to cook this chuck roast over a medium high heat. I don't want to overcook it, but I'd like to get a little bit of color around the edges if I can. We're going to use that beef fat, that tallow that I rendered from the dry aged steaks to do it. And then I'm going to use some beef broth and cream and turn it into a gravy, which I will then add the steak back into before we put it over that rice. Let's go ahead and get to cooking. I retained all of the juices from cooking the beef in the skillet here, and I'm going to put this back over a medium-high heat. I'm going to add in equal parts of beef bone broth and heavy cream. We're gonna cook it down until it is thick and creamy. Adjust seasoning, add the beef back to it, put it over that rice. And now it's time for taste test of the white rice part 2. This looks fantastic. The chives that I added are completely optional. If you're a little more keto or ketovore and you'd like to add some stir-fried veggies or some onion or shallot would be really good in this, garlic cloves, there's all kinds of things you can do. Feel free to experiment with whatever you'd like to throw into it.
It smells so good. It also looks so pretty.
It does look nice.
Like, wow. Okay, I'm excited. Oh my gosh. The flavor of this entire dish is insane. The rice, as we talked about earlier in part 1, great flavor. Doesn't taste like egg. Perfect texture. This beef, oh my gosh. This might be the best tasting I've ever eaten. I could literally eat this all day, every day and not get sick of it. This is so good. I feel like I'm sitting at some fancy restaurant right now. Holy cow. The first rice video you did has been a while and it's a great recipe and I thought it was really, really good. No doubt in my mind that you have far improved this.
I'm gonna put all of my links down below for you, including the recipe card page of my website where the recipe card for this rice will be. And if you guys would like to see how I do this shaved beef, drop it in the comments. Put down there, beef, so thin, so tender, and honestly, you can do it with budget-friendly cuts. All my other links are down below, including our private community, the band. We would love to see you guys in there for extra content, more ideas with things like this, and a whole bunch of behind the scenes, and just fun things we do in there to support each other on our journey. It's a really wonderful group of people, and we would love for you to come join. We love every single one of you. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor. You guys eat your meat, now your upgraded carnivore rice. Love your life. We'll see you here in the kitchen for a bunch more crazy recipes, keto, ketovore, and carnivore, proper human diet in general. And if you like things like carnivore white rice like this, you gotta go check out this recipe right over here.
This is so good.
Yeah, I'm really hungry too. This is really good.
Oh my gosh.